finally, we're here making the geese around the crazy heart. And this is the project. This is just a little table topper. This one is on a frame. This is to celebrate our country's 250th birthday. I'm going to heavily embellish it. It's on a canvas. It will be a wall hanging. And this is just the heart. It's embellished. And it's in a frame and sits on a stand on the table. So I have got this partially done because I thought I was doing a live and found out I wasn't. So what I did this morning was I cut all of my pieces and stacked them in order with the last piece on the bottom, first piece on the top, everything face up. So I know exactly the next piece to go on my foundation. And I have quite a bit of my block done. Maybe on Thursday, I will show you how to start another one. But I just sewed piece number 10 on. So I'm going to bring it over to the iron and set those stitches. Open it up. And then we're going to add piece number 11, which is this big triangle here. So what you want to do is take your straight edge and line it up with a seam line where you'll be adding your next piece. And fold this back, fold the foundation back. You never want to cut your foundation. Put your add a quarter on there. And I just have my 6-inch add a quarter here. Whoops, sorry. And then I just scoot it up. I worked for years with just a 6-inch. Didn't even know they made a 12-inch. And got along just fine. So there is our 1/4-inch seam allowance.
Hey, you good with my phone now? I can go out and play on a track.
Take the next piece and piece number 11. Thanks, and put right sides together.
Thank you.
Edges even.
Thank you. Taking care of Mom. Bye-bye.
And I still like to pin it after all these years. It just makes it easier getting it to the machine because you're going to flip it over. And there we go. And then we're just going to stitch on that line. Start where the line starts, end where it ends. And use a regular stitch length. Nothing, you don't have to, I need to find my petal here. You don't need to do those little tiny stitches because we are not going to tear this out. So whatever length stitch you like to use in your traditional piecing is what I recommend you use on this. Remember, you don't back stitch because there's still seams crossing this, so they'll be held in. And I will start another heart for you on Thursday's video or live. Set those stitches, press it open, and I think that's all the pieces of our heart. Now we just got to do the background. Number 12 is up here. And I know it's a little early in the year to be making fall things, but fall's my favorite year and time of year, and for some reason I don't have very many table toppers, so I'm making one for me. So when fall comes, I will have it. Let's see, I have 2 triangles. There's one. Right sides together. Now I'll tell you, this fabric isn't light enough to really worry about, But if this was like on my red, white, and blue one, my white fabric, you can kind of see through it. When you're putting a light fabric over a dark fabric, you want to make sure that you go a couple threads past the dark fabric underneath, and there's enough fabric in our sizes and our cut sizes to allow you to do this. Because when you open it up, you don't want to get a shadow of that dark fabric underneath. And in foundation or paper piecing, you don't really have a choice on which way your fabrics, your seam allowance goes. Now, on ours here, normally we print the line all the way out, but this one was done a number of years ago, and I just noticed that it's not printed all the way out. We will change that, but if you get one of our patterns that's already printed like this, just remember when there's no more seams crossing the one you're doing, run your stitching all the way out to the broken line. That way it holds everything all the way out. So when you go to sew it together with your borders, everything's held in place. You want to set those stitches and open this up. I'm going to do I'm not going to embellish this because it's going to be a table topper, and you don't want buttons and stuff if you're setting a glass or something on your table topper. But I am going to do some pretty embroidery stitches on this. And when I get to that part, after it's quilted, I will, or I don't know if I'll do it after, before, or after. I think before. But I'm working on a book of embroidery stitches, so I'll share that with you when it's done. Take our piece number 13, just push it a little past. I'm not really worried about a shadow showing through this fabric, but it's always a good idea. See, you can see I barely have a little bit of the light sticking past the dark. And next week, we're going to be doing some small hexie projects. I do mine on the machine, so I'll be sharing how to do that, but they'll be very small projects. So if you've always wanted to do a hexie project but didn't want to do all that by hand, I'll be showing you how we do it. I'm going to be making some little hexie bowls, and I'll be making a journal cover. I decided with all my gardening that I needed to keep a journal of when I fertilize things, when I wanted to keep a journal so next year maybe I'm a little bit better at doing what needs to be done time-wise and all that. So I thought, well, no better way than to keep a journal, trial and error, things I did right, things I did wrong. And so I thought, oh, I'll make a cover in some mini charm packs that Moda sent to me, and thought, that's perfect. So I'll be sharing that with you next week. When I get down here to the bottom, I'm not going to go past the line because you see I have this line is going to go all the way out. It's just the last one. And then we're going to trim for our last piece. I'm sorry that I didn't have the first part of this on live. I thought I was live and I wasn't. Well, I'm not the greatest. You can ask my kids. They've been on the phone helping me. I'm not the greatest, but I'm hoping we'll get this all figured out. Get my camera angle a little better. And improve with practice. If you can handle it. Okay, let's put that one on. We went just past the edge of the fabrics. It's a habit I've gotten into when putting light backgrounds on. Just better safe than sorry. And this one, this one goes all the way from broken line to broken line. And it's our favorite piece because it's the last one. And again, I'm a real nerd or whatever about cutting my threads. Set those seams and open that up. And you never know what you're going to get when you just grab scraps. So there we are. Now what I do before I trim it, and I just started doing this in the last year or so, I've got these big corners here that aren't attached. So when I go to attach either the border or another block, depending on what I'm doing with this, I like to have it stitched down to my fabric. It holds my block in the proper shape, and much easier matching your seam lines when you've got it stitched down. I didn't used to do that, but I'm losing my foot pedal. It just takes a second to do it, and it just makes everything much nicer. Don't want to distort it, want to keep it flat. And I keep the stitch size the same. I call it basting, but it's just, I don't change the size of my stitching. My machine sounds terrible. Okay, whoops. Okie dokie, now it's time to trim this. And I did want to mention, when I cut the foundation block from what came out of the package, both sides of this heart block had this blank foundation fabric, and I always recommend keep this. When you have any good sized chunks of the foundation, remember it is pre-shrunk already. And if by chance you make a mistake and cut your foundation or have your iron at the wrong temperature, this is great to have on hand to repair it. And you can tape it or you can stitch it. You can use a little basting spray to hold it in place till you get it sewn back in place. Don't throw it away. You will be glad you kept it. And you can use it to sample your iron on before you go to a block and iron to find the proper temperature on your iron. So now we're going to trim around all four edges of our block a 1/4 inch. See, there's my solid line. And I'm going to lay that right there, a 1/4 inch from the solid line. And everybody says, oh, cut it on the broken line. No, because I don't guarantee, I kind of do, but I want you to cut it a 1/4 inch, because when you cut all your blocks yourself with your 1/4 inch, you have a better chance of having the block. I thought I just put a new blade on here. You have a better chance when you put your blocks together that your seams, the seam line is going to match up without a lot of checking and double checking, because that's what you want to have matched when you join your blocks together. You want the seam lines to match. Okay. Oops. Don't want to do that. So my block is done. Oh, I love those colors. My fall block. Like I say, I'm going to do some embroidery work so it stays flat. And but I want to embellish it a little bit, and that's a good way to do it. So I'll be working on that the next couple of nights and show it to you when it's done. And the stitches I'll be using are coming from the book I'm doing. We're going to print a book for you to practice if you're interested in learning how to do some embroidery techniques, different stitches, and end up with a really neat kind of heirloom type book. And as I complete my stitches and a few more projects that will be embellishing with the stitches, I'll introduce you to the book, and it'll be available. And I wanted to remind you that next week we're going to be doing hexes, and this is my little practice hexie bowl. It's reversible. You can have either side facing out, and you can put a lid on it if you want. The pattern comes with lids. The pattern has, I think it's going to have 4 sizes. There's one smaller than this that will be shown as a pincushion. And then you can use this as a bowl. You can put your threads in here, whatever. And then there's 2 that are bigger. And they're pretty stout. So, and they're fun to make, very simple. So, and yes, these you sew together by hand. They're all made on the machine. The only thing when you sew them together, you're going to sew them by hand. I have not found a way that I can sew and make that turn on the machine. So we could join them all this way here on the machine, but then when you sew the 6 around together to make the bowl shape, got to do it by hand. But it's not that big of a deal. So we'll be doing that next week. We have a journal cover made with hexes that we're going to do next week, and I'll probably show you some other little projects so you can get into doing it. You can do it by hand. You can do them by hand, or you can do them on the machine. I normally do them on the machine, but I'll show you both ways. So if you wanna get some hexes ahead of time, please do, and you can sew along with me. And this week we're gonna finish up this. We'll do the geese, and what else? I got all my geese cut for the border. And this is the background pieces, and I'm doing something a little different this time. I've never done it before, so you'll find out with me if it's going to look okay or not. But the outside of the flying geese blocks is going to be the dark. I wanted a dark edge, so I thought, well, I'll do this, and then this is the inside, so it will be a continuance. My inner border is this fabric also, so if we look here, this will all be the same color, but then these pieces are going to be the dark. So we'll see what that looks like. Always fun to experiment. I don't even know. Do I have time to get you started on flying geese? Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Let's get started on the flying geese. And we'll set the heart aside. This is from the big sheet that comes in the pattern. So we'll just do one row. And I like to cut a little bit of this extra off. Whoa. Pull that up, put that over there. Okay, now what I want to do is what I did. There's, I think there's 10 colors in the heart, or 10 different fabrics. So from each one of those fabrics, I cut 2 squares, 4.5 by 4.5, and then I cut them diagonally once. So I have a lot of extra triangles here. I didn't know, I normally like to lay them out random, but I think on this one, I'm going to do a pattern. I'm going to do all 4 exactly the same. So I only need 8. So I'm going to pull a couple fabrics I'm not real fond of. I mean, they worked with the heart, but, and let's put them in order. So there's one, kind of alternate between a print and, ooh, that's pretty. Let's see. I think I like that. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to do it like that. I think I'll put that one up in the middle so I don't have, because the way they're going to go around, I don't want the 2 greens next to each other. Okay, so I'm going to start with this back here, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, Actually, well, I'll do that later. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll stack these so they're ready to go. Okay, so my pieces are in order, and I'm going to have to remember which one's the outside piece. We're going to do it like this. So piece number 2, whoops. This is the front. This is the side the fabrics will be on. So piece number 3 is going to be my outside piece. So there we set fabric piece number 1 with the wrong side facing up. And then I'm going to set my foundation on top with about 1/4 of an inch going past the 2 lines. And if it's not exact, that's all right. You just want to make sure you have enough fabric that comes down past the broken line. And instead of pinning this, I take it to the machine. I got it just right where I want it. And I'm going to just run a line of stitching between the solid line and the broken line. And I do apologize for not being on here at noon. I was sewing along thinking I was on live, and I wasn't. So I think I'll do better next time. I certainly hope so. Okay, here we go. Light over dark. I'm going to put my edges even, and then I'm just going to push that light piece forward just a tad to make sure that the dark doesn't come through as a shadow when we open it up, when we open the light piece up. I keep losing my foot pedal. There it is. And everybody tells me they don't like doing flying geese. Well, I didn't either until we came up with this. And now we do lots of flying geese. Set those stitches and then open that up. Press it nice and flat. And then I have to remember this side is the dark side. There's not a lot of contrast there, but it'll be okay. I may not like this. We'll see. Oops, sorry. This one you get when you put your first piece down, because you get to line it up with 1/4 inch on 2 sides. You don't have to trim. And this set of flying geese, because they're all going to be the same, all 4 are going to be the same fabrics in the same order, this would be a great one to chain piece. Make it go a little faster. When you get done, you'll have all 4 done at the same time. Okay, now we're going to trim. This is where we're going to add piece number 4, this line. So we're going to put our straight edge, fold the foundation back over, And then we will take our next piece off the top of the stack, put right sides together, and I just sort of eyeball. But I got about the same amount of space on both sides of the line, or same amount of fabric. Put a pin back away from where you're going to sew. And then just stitch on the line. Now when you're doing flying geese, you don't want to cut off the top of your geese. And this is always the test or the fun part. Open that up and oh gosh, it's perfect. Yay. You can see a point right there. Yay. Okay, now we're gonna, when I'm doing flying geese, I trim both sides at one, not at one time, but one time at the cutting mat. Saves a little time. Okay, so now we want a light one over here. Now that I have my first goose done, the best way to center this is put this point on this seam line. And that way you know you got it centered up. Does that make sense? That's your center right there. So if you got that point of your fabric somewhere close to that seam line, you know you got plenty of fabric for when you open it up. I hear tractor running outside. Yay. Okay. Press it nice and flat because I'm going to have a seam line going right over that. And this time we take the dark. And again, I put my point right there at that seam line. Turn it over. Okay. Press that. Yes, I do use steam. I know a lot of quilters don't like to use steam. I have my iron on the lowest steam setting. So when I want to hit it with some steam, I can. It helps make it lay a little flatter. If you don't like using steam, that's quite fine. Whatever it takes to get a good flat seam. And my next piece, and there's not going to be a lot of contrast here. Oh, there's a little. Now, when I line this up, I kind of just make sure when it's down here that it's even. You know, that it's not too far one way or the other. That it's pretty even. Or you can just kind of fold it in half and line it up like that with the point on your goose below. And I still put a pin in it. Another perfect point. And we're just going to keep doing this till it's all covered. And again, when I'm doing the geese, I trim both edges of the goose. It just saves one trip to the cutting mat. If you've ever done our flying geese, you know how fun it is to do them and have them come out so perfect all the time. It's like I say, I hated doing flying geese, and I had bought different rulers. I tried all these different methods, but you do realize that all your edges in the flying geese are bias edges. So even if you make your flying geese perfect, the edges are still going to stretch on you. Unless you handle them very carefully. And then still, it's just the natural nature of fabric, of a woven fabric. And piece number 9 already. Put that needle down right at the point. Whoops, sorry. I'm never nervous talking about this. I talk in front of large groups all the time. I love talking about our foundations. I'm just, technology is not my thing. Since computers came out, my son has always done all the technological side of things for me. I can follow along a little bit, but it's not what my brain's interested in. So I tend not to follow real well. My poor kids have to do so much for me. But I can sew, I can make quilts, I can design and all that good stuff. So you'll have to bear with me. I will get better at this. I promise. I'll work on it. But I just love sharing this. Okay, let's get this one centered up. And this goes relatively fast. And if you were chain piecing them, it wouldn't seem like it goes faster. I keep pushing my foot pedal away. It doesn't seem like it would go faster, but you get all 4 done at the same time. So then it'd be ready to put your quilt top together. I was talking about showing you guys one day doing a demonstration on making bias binding. And one of my last trunk shows that I did, somebody remarked that they noticed that most of my quilts have rounded corners. And that's for 2 reasons. Number one, I hate traditional corners. I can do them. I can do them just fine. I stitch them down just fine. I just don't like them. So I have several templates for rounding my corners. You can see there. And of course, if you're going to round your corners, you need to make bias binding. And bias binding is actually, it wears better than straight of the grain binding. Straight of the grain, you've got your threads going up and down and your threads going across. It's like one thread right at the sharp crease. It's going to wear. On a bias binding, you've got all the threads are crossing. So you don't have just one thread. And it does wear better. And I like the way quilts lay when the corners are rounded. I think they lay much nicer. They flow much nicer. That's my personal preference. There are no quilt police, although I always say at my trunk shows, I'm married to the police captain. He's very, 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 very opinionated or not critical. He's never critical like mean type, but he will express his opinion of how something looks or if he thinks I should change a color. A lot of times he will come down to the studio when I'm auditioning fabrics for borders or sashings or whatever, and I do value his opinion. We're quite opposite. He likes everything geometrically perfect. I'm the artist. I like things offset or something different, which is why one of the reasons I'm doing this dark and light flying geese. I wanted to do something a little different. I'm tired of all of them being the same. I want to change it up a little bit. So, but there are no real quilt police. So you can do what you want. You can make your mitered corners. It doesn't matter. It's just, I have found that I am much more pleased with my quilts when I put a rounded corner on them. And making bias binding, I have the I make a I make a continuous binding, and I think it's a very simple method. And I think there is an old video on YouTube of me showing how to make it. But I will share that with you on one of these programs. And we have a little bit, like probably when I finish this one up, I will share that with you on how I make my bias binding. And I have a big box or bin. Sometimes I love striped fabric on the diagonal for a binding. I just think that looks so sharp. And I have a box of binding I've already made. Then I roll it up, and I put a note on it, a little tab on it, saying how long it is, so I'll know what quilt it will fit on. They're not made for any specific quilt, but they're fabrics I found, especially, like I say, striped fabrics that that I've made into bias binding. And or sometimes if I have a piece of fabric left that's not, that's maybe 20 inches square or bigger, if it's like 2/3 of a yard or 3/4 of a yard, and I don't really have anything else to do with it, and it will work on a scrap quilt, I'll make it into binding. And then that way I have a box full of binding already made, already pressed, ready to sew on the quilt. So I don't have to stop and make binding. I don't know. I think this might look kind of cool. I don't know. It's going to be different. We'll see what it looks like around the heart. Like I say, I won't be live on Thursday, but I will post a video of the next couple of steps on this so that on Saturday we can put the whole thing together. It'll probably just be me making more flying geese, and I might share a few other projects that we have that use our flying geese, and teach you about that, or talk to you about it, or show you. Whoops, let's turn this over and take our next piece. Right sides together, kind of centered, close. So most Saturdays will be days that will complete projects. And remember that this Saturday we'll complete this one, and then next week we're going to be playing with hexies and small hexie projects. I know a lot of people don't want to do the handwork. They want to get it done quickly. Well, with our hexies, and you notice I'm not calling it English paper piecing. We get the same end results, but different. So you can do them on the machine, and they do go much faster. You do not have to remove our foundations in your hexies. And I found the one thing I found with them is when I would do traditional English paper piecing with using either papers or the little plastic templates, once you pop those templates out, you have no stability. They go wonky, and they're hard to keep straight in line. And with ours, they don't really add any weight or bulk, but they add enough stability. They hold their shape, and much nicer to work with. So I'll be showing you that next week, and I hope you'll join us. It might spark an interest, and if you want to do hexies by hand, ours are very simple to do. And stitching through this foundation, I always say it's like, people ask, what's it like to quilt? It's like stitching through butter is the best way I can describe it. Your needle just glides through it really, really easily, softly. I don't know how to describe it. But as you can see, making our flying geese is really very simple. Sometimes a little monotonous, doing the same thing over and over again. But this is a great time to binge watch your favorite shows, which I am known to do. We just finished, I know I'm way behind, but we just finished watching Suits, and I loved it. And you know, when you watch something like that, any series, and you kind of get attached to it, you get attached to the characters. It's crazy. It's like, I remember when we watched The Ranch, we would binge watch each season, like sit every night, watch 3 or 4 episodes, and it gets to feeling like they're family. And then when it's all done, it's like, oh, I miss them. So now I'm trying to remember with the latest one. We've been watching Tracker, and what else have we been watching? We're ready to start this season, the new season, and we'll binge watch it because we get into it and don't want to quit. The Lincoln Lawyer, love that one. There's so many. And I'm a sports nut for certain sports. My grandsons love soccer, so Grandma is really trying hard to understand the nuances. I mean, I got the general idea of it, but I'm trying to learn the nuances so I can be halfway intelligent in talking to him. I wish I could play, but a little old for that. Anyway. And yes, I did want to remind you, Laura does lives Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. She's on the East Coast, and she normally does it from 10 till noon. East Coast time. So if you're early riser on the West Coast, you can catch her. And I think she's still working on, I know when I left, she was working on the Twisted Log Cabin, and I think she's gone back to finish up the Circle of Geese. Speaking of flying geese, but they're going in circles. So you might want to catch her here on our YouTube channel. So you got a couple of different things to catch, learn about. So this is Geese Around the Crazy Heart. I did not bring in. I have this made into, I told you I made this a lot of times. I have it as a pillow. And I believe my pillow is in purples. And you could just, hearts don't have to just be pink. I was thinking, I think I said, oh, well, of course I wasn't on when I thought I was. I was talking about doing a big quilt with these blocks in different colors. It's just I wanted to decide if I wanted to do the geese around it, or if I want to come up with a different sashing. And I think it'd make a darling baby quilt in pastels, all the hearts. You could have different colored hearts, all in pastels. You could either mix your colors in all the hearts, or you could do like lavenders and use up scraps if you, like me, got a lot of scraps. See, now just talking about that, I can just see Laura. Oh, no. Oh, Mom's got another idea. And again, I line that point up with that seam right there. Well, I see we hit the 2 o'clock mark. And I think I'm going to go, like I say, I hear tractor outside. I think I need to go out while it's still beautiful today and maybe have a little fun out in the yard. Make sure my tractor driver's doing what needs to be done. And once again, let me go over this with you. This is our Geese Around the Crazy Heart. That's our table topper. And this is the one I just finished yesterday. I did get it quilted. I just did a grid quilt, and then in the ditch in the heart, and in the ditch around all the geese to try to make them pop, which they did. And I have put it on a 20-inch, 20 by 20 canvas, because I'm going to heavily embellish this one and make it a wall hanging. And then this is just the heart with the inner border as an outer border. And then I've embellished it. These are half pearls. And I just use the E6000 clear glue, just a teeny bit to hold this on. And they have been on for several years. And then I just took buttons and did little seed beads where the, for the holes, and sewed them down. I did fussy cut this piece here, so my butterfly was there. I've got some grapes and some lace and this little thing. And I'll tell you, the one that I really want to do, oh, I've got lace here and ribbon there. I want to make this, but all in metallic fabrics, mostly gold and silver, probably pretty much neutrals. I bought a little picture frame. I bought two, actually, one gold, one silver, very small. And Bob and I will be celebrating our 54th anniversary this summer, and he unfortunately had a heart attack a couple days before our 50th, so we never really got to celebrate. And so I want to make one for him as a surprise. And I will put the picture frame, it will be a part of the embellishments on the heart. I will have that out and show that on Thursday. So I can put our picture in it, and it's designed. I got it at Michael's, and I think I got it in the scrapbook department, and I can stitch it down so it will be on there. And uh, I'm not sure what else, but I do have a lot of embellishments I have been collecting. I know I have some on my board from the from our booth, where my notions board. I specifically bought some packages uh, of gold and silver stuff for designed. I had that in my head, so um, I'll share that with you on Thursday, and yeah, that's it. Let's see. This is the cover for this pattern. And once again, this is inside. This is your cutting chart. The top picture of the heart is how it will look when it's done, the orientation. The one with all the numbers in it is what it looks like on the back side where you'll be working. And then this is the cutting chart. Each space on the foundation has a number, and it corresponds to the piece number in the cutting chart. Tell you what size to cut all your pieces, and then down there at the bottom it shows you your inner border, what size to cut. And then on the other side it shows you what to cut for your flying geese and your binding. And that's it. And my red, white, and blue, actually, all of these have been made from my stash, just scraps. Unfortunately, I don't have any of them kitted, but we may change that up and make a few kits that are either the same or very, very similar. And I will let you know when those will be available. So I hope I'm sorry. I am truly sorry that I did not get on here in time. I was having a little difficulty with my phone, learned what I was doing wrong, and will do better. I'll get my camera to point better, and I've enjoyed this. I really, really have. So, hope to see you Thursday, noon on Thursday, and again, noon on Saturday. We'll finish this project up. So take care. Thank you for watching.